Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. One of the most depressed lawmakers in America these days is arguably Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson. The government shutdown keeps going. Polls show a clear majority of Americans blame Johnson and the GOP for the shutdown. And the polls also reveal that most Americans think Johnson's refusal to swear in an Arizona Democrat is an effort to protect Donald Trump from the Epstein files. Well, Johnson was asked about the Democratic claim on CNBC, and it appeared to trigger him and put him on the verge of tears.
That would be the vote that would allow the Epstein files to have to be released. And he said that's why you're not calling back Congress to swear her in.
Okay, this is so absurd, and I've answered it so many times, but I'll do it again.
Sorry.
Rep. Grijalva elect is no. Thanks for asking it, Joe, because they keep using this as some sort of distraction. It's totally pointless. Okay.
Look how sad Johnson is. It was even more apparent when CNBC took Johnson's camera full screen.
Okay, Rep. Grijalva was elected after the House went out of session, so we are delighted to administer the oath to her as soon as we get back to regular session here, the legislative session. That's the whole point. By the way, I'm following the Pelosi precedent. She was Speaker here a long time. She did this many times. Julia Letlow, my friend from Louisiana, was elected in similar circumstances to replace her late husband who passed away from COVID. Nancy Pelosi took 25 days to administer the oath to her. We had Pat Ryan and Joe Simpolinski, Democrats, who were elected during an August recess. Nancy Pelosi took 21 days to administer the oath to them because she had to wait until we came back to legislative session. Same exact scenario. Rep. Grijalva can work. Rep-elect Grijalva can work for her constituents right now, constituent services, answering the phone. She has computers and 16 employees, and there's no excuse for it, okay?
Did you catch how his voice cracked? Watch it again.
She has computers and 16 employees, and there's no excuse for it, okay?
He really looked like he was going to break down and cry. But then Johnson regained his composure.
The Epstein files are being released. 43,000 pages now. There was another batch of documents dumped on Friday of last week, which included Epstein's personal ledgers, his financial ledgers, his daily calendar, his flight logs, all the things that people have been saying they wanted. It's all coming out. Why? Because the House Oversight Committee has been working through this period, even when we're not on the House floor, to go through and dig through the Epstein estate files and all the rest and get them out. So these are all distractions, all distractions.
Poor Speaker Mike Johnson. The big bad Democrats are distracting him and taking him off message. For the record, the Epstein documents being released by a House committee are from the Epstein estate and lawsuits against him. Lawyers say the most powerful, explosive, and troubling Epstein documents, photos, and videos are in the files being blocked by Donald Trump's Justice Department and FBI. The House discharge petition, which would get triggered once Democrat Adelita Grijalva is sworn in, would force a vote on the public release of everything. Now, as far as Johnson's claim of following the Pelosi precedent on swearing in lawmakers, CNBC host Andrew Ross Sorkin addressed that and sandbagged Johnson with recent comments from the last Republican House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy.
Speaker, we spoke to your predecessor, Kevin McCarthy, earlier this week, and he made an interesting point, though, about what you're describing, which is that it is politics. And I'm not suggesting it isn't. When you even look at what Nancy Pelosi did, and we could just, if we wanted together, we could say this is a disgrace and condemn the fact that politics are taking place here and that there is a precedent. But I think rather than look to that, the question is, it doesn't have to be this way. This is a choice that's being made. And I think that is the issue here. And so this idea that it can't be done in some other way.
Johnson looks so sad. He's being humiliated and seems again to be on the verge of tears.
And I'd raise it because the other issue is, what would happen if you actually took those votes and hard votes and won those votes? Wouldn't that be the better path?
Well, I'm not sure what you're referring to because we did that. I mean, look, the CR that we sent over is a totally clean, nonpartisan document. It's 24 pages in length. It literally is the bare minimum language just to keep everything at status quo. And I will point out to you, status quo is Biden-era policies and spending. We don't even like it. Republicans are trying to change that.
Actually, Republicans are changing that. By allowing the Affordable Care Act tax subsidies to expire and by the cuts earlier this year to Medicare and Medicaid, tens of millions of Americans are seeing their health coverage premiums skyrocket. Millions of other Americans are losing their health coverage altogether. But Johnson insists his party made an honest effort to keep the government funding going.
This was a good faith effort to allow more time for the appropriators to finish their job, plain and simple. And that's what makes this so remarkable and so especially painful for people.
You see that blinking? It's painful for Johnson as well. Clearly, the House Republican Speaker is stuck between the proverbial rock and a hard place. Johnson has to run interference for Donald Trump, who doesn't want the Epstein files released, so Johnson has to keep blocking Rep. Adelita Grijalva's swearing in. But that is messing up Johnson's talking point about who is to blame for the government shutdown. Meanwhile, Democrats keep hammering Johnson, Trump, and the rest of the GOP.
4 weeks have passed since she was elected. And the reason why Mike Johnson and House Republicans refuse to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva is because they want to continue to hide the Epstein files from the American people. That's crystal clear at this point in time.
And as for Democrats standing firm and withholding votes to fund the government because of GOP healthcare cuts, there was this.
Yeah, we do want to restore the fact that the largest cut to Medicaid in American history has been visited upon the American people by Donald Trump and Republicans, even though they promised to love and cherish Medicaid. But instead of doing that, they cut about $1 trillion from Medicaid. And as a result of that fact, hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing all across the country, including in Republican states.
And many of those Republicans are getting increasingly anxious and directing their frustrations at their House Speaker, Mike Johnson. In turn, Johnson is wearing down, getting more depressed by the day, and seemingly on the verge of a breakdown and tears on a cable TV news interview. Yes, politics is a rough business. Still, Johnson and other Republicans would be wise to remember they still have a job and great health care. Plus, in Johnson's world, louts like Donald Trump get congressional protection, at least for a little while. The Trump protection will not last. The Speaker can't keep blocking votes and secrets forever. Surely Johnson knows that, which may explain his fraught emotions. By the way, Donald Trump just erupted over architects, historians, and members of the public trashing his ballroom construction and demolition of the White House East Wing.
The people who say that you haven't been transparent enough about this.
I haven't been transparent?
That some of your
Really?
critics feel it should
I've shown this to everybody that would listen. Third-rate reporters didn't see it because they didn't look. You're a third-rate reporter, always have been. So third-rate reporters didn't look, but anybody that asked, these pictures have been in newspapers. They've been all over the place.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Dimitri, who wrote, "Imagine if President Obama had done something like this to the White House." Well said. I look forward to reading your comments about tough questions making a sad Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson nearly break down on live TV. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.